Good afternoon, everybody. So this is not going to be a huge long session, and I think the most technical thing about it is going to be the fact that I've said technical now 3 times. But the point of this is to kind of get everybody in the community as much as possible to rally up and promote our favorite database system on social media and other similar platforms. There are a lot of opportunities, many more than we ordinarily think of, where we can do that. I do that quite a bit on various platforms. I'll tell you what I've done and what I continue to do and make some suggestions. We'll start with the obvious, obviously the IBM community. And although we tend to concentrate on the Informix area, there are other areas on the community site that are related to database and where we can post in a way, steer the conversation towards the viability and the permanence and the power of Informix. And so that's one platform. Another are the WhatsApp groups, right? For now, we're talking about there again, specific Informix platforms, right? The Informix DBA and Informix 4GL WhatsApp groups, helping the community members that are on that platform to be supported and strengthen their positions at their companies for continuing to use Informix. In addition to that, I post quite a bit on a question and answer site called Quora. And the advantage of that is that it's not product specific. There are questions there ranging on everything from social media itself to social issues, to religious issues, to political issues, and also technical issues. And so wherever there's an opportunity for me to stick something in about Informix, whether it's answering a question about SQL or development or databases in general, answering questions about NoSQL databases versus relational databases, wherever I can and whenever I can, I throw a bone in there about Informix and about how it can answer some of these issues and problems that people have. Obviously Informix isn't the answer to a question about Judaism or Christianity or abortion or whatever, but there are many, many opportunities to do that there. Similarly, on LinkedIn, there are several Informix Informix groups on LinkedIn. There are also a lot of database groups on LinkedIn that we don't, where there's an opportunity to bring up Informix. For example, there is the database developers group, the database group, the data warehouse group, enterprise database architecture, database administration professionals, the database experts group, and others. Same thing on Stack, dba.stackexchange.com. There is an Informix tag, and there have been questions there fairly recently. Jonathan Leffler answers questions there frequently when they're asked, and I have learned about it in the last couple of months and started to keep an eye on it for questions that we can answer. The old comp.databases.informix Usenet group is now a Google group, and it has all the old contents for people to search. And again, there are occasionally questions there, as recent as I believe last December. So it's something again that I've started to keep an eye on again, but I haven't watched it in a while. Another opportunity is to join meetups, right? There are database meetups that are product specific, but there are also database meetup groups in your area that are more generic for database, for development, for developers, for website development, where people come in and talk about the database products and other technologies that they're interested in either promoting or teaching about. And there's an opportunity there for us to do the same thing, to bring Informix out, to talk about it, to bring up, for example, specific features that we're aware of and comfortable with that are specific to Informix and not available elsewhere. I'm considering doing a talk at the New York Database Group meetup about Informix transaction survival, one of my favorite features since it was my idea in the first place. But it's an awesome feature that I think is terribly underused, but it's also a real hook to talk about the capabilities of Informix in the marketplace. So I wanted to do that, talk about all of this, maybe open up the forum here for questions and answers and other ideas, and just have a discussion about how we can make the universe, if you will, more aware of our favorite database and keep this journey that we've been on going. For Lester and I, it's almost 40 years. And for many of you, it's been quite a while as well. So Lester, let's open this up and see if we have any questions or things people want to talk about, ideas to share. You can use the hands up feature or the chat.
Yeah, if you put a comment in the chat or raise your hand, Art can unmute you. I'm going to start off with a question, Art, and I'm going to put this in the chat. Can everybody put all the social links to the social groups in the chat so we can see what all is available? And I'll put a couple in just a minute to start off, but that might be a good way to get this running.
Okay. So as I said on LinkedIn, right, there are a large number of database-related groups. There is the database developers, just database, data warehouse, enterprise database architecture, database experts group, database performance, database administration. Those are the main ones on LinkedIn. As I said, there is dba.stackexchange.com. There is the Google Groups, which is groups.google.com, like most things Google. And then search for comp.databases.informix. And you're linked into the old Usenet group, which is, as I said, is now a Google group. Listing meetups is a little harder because they're kind of regional and even local. So I can't do much for that. What else? Anybody else have ideas? If you're not on the WhatsApp group and you'd like to join, just send me an email or a text and I will get you added to those groups. Right, let's just put a few up.
There's a question for you in the chat, Art.
Is there? I didn't. Oh, how can we know the advancement going through an Informix database? I'm not sure what the question is. Who's that from? Pankaj? Let me unmute you and we can talk. Hello.
Hello, sir.
So what was your question?
How can we know the advancement going through in the Informix database? Means actually we are using Informix 11. Since then, what all advancement has come in Informix database? So how can we know and how can we go through that?
Okay, so I mean, as far as what features have been added since 11, is
Yes,
that what
yes,
your
yes, sir.
question goes to? So there's quite a
Yes,
bit.
sir.
You can go to the Informix documentation online and look at what's new for version 14. I believe the what's new for version 12.10 is also still online on the version 12 documentation on the IBM site. And that will show you all of the features that have been added since 11.7. I know you're on 11.7, 11.5, 11.10.
No, sir.
Which release are you on?
Actually, our organization is using this database since 1992, and from that year, it's continuously running that. We try to advance it, but we failed somehow, and still we are using that 11 database itself in our organization. It's a defense organization in India, defense production organization, so we are running that only. So
So 1992 would have been version 5, 5.8,
uh,
7, 5.6.
after that, maybe they would have advanced it,
Yeah, they must have
so
upgraded since then.
upgraded
Um,
it since then. So it is 11 as of now, Informix 11.
but 11 what? There have been three major releases of 11 before 12 and 14. There was 11.10, 11.50, and then 11.17.
It's 11.10.
Okay, so there's been huge changes since 11.10. The engine is considerably more stable since 11.50. Um, there have been 4 iterations of major performance improvements from major version to major version. Lots and lots of bug fixes, tons of new features. I couldn't even begin to list them for you. Um, yeah, it's definitely worth looking into upgrading to version 14 and getting licensed.
Actually, sir, I am young aspirants only. I am at the age of 29. So if I need to build the career, so I will use mostly the popular database, isn't it, sir?
You're talking about what, using like MySQL or
Means if
Postgres?
means if we have to promote Informix as a database, we need to create more opportunities for users as well, so that they can learn that and get an job opportunity, good job opportunity, isn't it,
Sure,
sir?
sure. So, I mean, Java connects well
So,
to Informix. There is training available. Lester, who's hosting this for us today, still gives.
how can I get trained in advanced version, sir? So, is there any link you can post there, sir? I
Sure.
can.
Lester, your website is still active, right?
Sorry, I'm mute. I have a whole series of free tutorials. I'll put them in the chat. I've just put in the chat several things. Carlton did a presentation not too long ago on what's new in version 14 that I would really recommend. I just put that in the chat. I also put in the release notes. And I'll go find my my tutorial link and put that in the chat too.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes, sir. That would be fine, sir. Helpful, sir.
Okay. And I see a question from Zahir. What does the future look like for Informix and IBM Cloud Pak for data? Reason why I'm asking is because I am planning on doing my IBM Cloud Pak for data certification. Will it benefit me? It certainly might, but not relative to Informix specifically. Informix is available as part of Cloud Pak for data. So it is supported as part of that. And you can certainly bring your own licenses to any Cloud Pak system that you bring up. In addition, if you want certification for Informix specifically for your career, IBM is no longer doing certifications specifically. They have now the concept of badges, and the IIUG is managing the badge for Informix administration. If you go to the IIUG website, I believe there's a link there where you can register for to take the badge exam and get your badge for Informix version 14 administration. So if that doesn't answer your question, chat again or raise your hand, and I'll unmute you and we can have a little talk. Okay. Did I miss any questions, Lester?
The Cloud Pak question.
We just talked about that.
That's all I see. I'm sorry. I'm posting links in the chat, so
Sure.
I don't think you've missed anything so far. I see there are new messages.
Did anybody mention the Informix group in the IBM community? Yes, we started with that. Yeah, and also the other community forums in the IBM community pages. No problem. And I had made a suggestion that where it's appropriate, obviously, to mention Informix in some of the other forums that you're part of. You know, if somebody asks a question about does DB2 do XYZ and it doesn't, it's not inappropriate to pipe in and say it doesn't, but IBM's Informix does, right? If it indeed does, obviously. Right. For example, being able to actively use hybrid JSON and data along with relational data. DB2 doesn't do that particularly well, though it does do XML. It doesn't do JSON particularly well, but Informix does it so well that it's a drop-in replacement for MongoDB, right? So it's not inappropriate to mention that if a question like that comes up, as an example. Yeah. All right. So that's my point: is that we all live and work with this database, and it's important to not only to our jobs but to our companies and our industries, and in part to our futures. And so it's important for us where we can to promote it and support it, and support the other members of our community in that way. That's where I was going with this. Somebody asked, any thoughts on strategies to keep wiki pages on Informix up to date? Ruben, I've been doing that for years. Maybe I fell behind. Nobody else that I know of is updating those pages. Jonathan was for a while. I don't think he's been active on those since then. Certainly you are welcome to join in the effort. IBM has no interest in saying anything about Informix anywhere as a company. But then they officially have no interest in saying anything about any product, at least officially. So, that's that. IBM does not market anything except IBM and IBM ideas. Though I have just seen commercials for hybrid cloud, which is kind of gets you back into IBM product. But yeah, but I'm not going to go there with them. They don't listen. So there's that. I think they still support the product as a product. The next release of Informix will have significant features and bug fixes, so we still have a growing product. Thank you, Karen, and everybody behind her, at HCL who support and build the product with support from IBM. But it would be lovely if somebody would talk about what is possibly the most profitable product IBM has. I don't know why that doesn't make sense to them, but there we are. All right. Anybody else? Folks should also register with the IIUG. Yes, if you are not an IIUG member, please go to the IIUG website. That is www.iiug.org. Subscribe to the Insider, which will keep you up to date on what we're doing and what Informix as a product is doing. But also registering and giving us your email address gives us one more bit of leverage with IBM when we have questions about what they're doing and why they're doing and how they're doing. And we need to put pressure on them to do more for the community.
And Art, can I add something there?
Absolutely.
If you joined a long time ago and have not updated your membership, please go and do that. Only folks who have updated their membership in like the last 3 or 4 years are considered active. And so, I joined, what was it, in 95. If I didn't touch my record, it would be in the inactive status. You need to go in and just update your information, log in, make sure it's all correct, the right email address. That way you'll be reactivated. If you're not getting the monthly insider, it's probably because your membership has been deactivated because you haven't done anything with it. All you have to do is just go in and hit update and say, yeah, that's correct.
Yep, that's all you have to do. It's really easy. The new website is laid out a lot better than our old one was. So we've come at least partway into the modern era. All good stuff. Yeah. All right. Well, that's what I wanted to say. Hopefully, we can together promote this product and keep the industry and our community going. Thank you, everybody.
Well, thank you, Art, and thank you for everybody for attending, and we'll see you on the next one. Have a good day.
Bye-bye.